episode number 175 with Derek Tenbusch. Welcome to the Heads Up Poker Podcast. This is Steve Barton, and thank you for tuning in. I am here this week with Derek Tenbusch, the owner of TPE, a poker player, and you're also a new Vegas permanent resident.
That is correct. I've been here about a month and a half now, I guess, which is amazing that it's gone by that fast. Just moved here from North Carolina, and other than the 107-degree temperature, it's been great so far.
You know, and coming to Vegas so often, my brother's, what would it be? I guess it would be his brother-in-law now that he got married. He was telling me about the weather here and living here, and he described it very accurately. And he said that, once winter's done, the temperature will get up to a consistent 75, and then it'll get down to 60. Mm-hmm. And then a week or two will go by, and it'll go up to 85, and you're like, damn, it's getting kind of hot. And then it goes down to 75, and it's like that for a week and a half. And then it goes up to 95, and you're just like, oh my God. And then it goes down to 85, and you got to get used to it. And then one day it just hits you, and it's like you walk outside, and you're like, oh my God, it's 115 degrees. What the hell? And then it drops down to 105, and you're like, oh, this ain't that bad.
Yeah. I think it's weird, too, because I've come out to Vegas, I guess, 7 summers in a row or something like that. And it's always in the summer during the World Series. So you'd think I would just sort of know what it's like and expect the heat. But I think there's something about the permanence now of moving here where I'm like, oh, yeah, it's really hot. And I'm here forever.
Yes.
As opposed to just like, yeah, it's pretty hot, but I'm only here a month. It's no big deal.
Yeah, I can stick it out, then I go home.
Yeah. But yeah. I am looking forward to, because, people keep telling me about like just how beautiful it is. And I lived in SoCal for 10 years. So in my mind, I'm thinking like in like September, October, November, it'll start to get to be like SoCal weather and I'll love it. So just got to make it through the summer and I'll be good.
Yeah. When I retire, I'm coming out here and, but I'm going to live out here probably 8 months out of the year. I'm not going to be here in the dead of winter. And then, I will have to be here for the dead of summer because of the WSOP. But after that's over, then I'm going to leave for a few months and then come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, 8 months out of the year, the weather's just fine, And have you ever been here in the winter when sometimes it actually snows here?
I've been here. In fact, I was here this past November. But I just came out for a weekend, and of course, you know how it is when you come to Vegas. You basically get off the plane, get in an Uber,
yes,
walk into a casino, and then you never walk outside.
And you never see the light of day for 4 days. Then you get back on the plane, and you never know the difference.
Yeah. So I'm sure it was beautiful outside in November when I was here, but I have no idea.
Well, you're in Henderson now, right? You're just renting a place, but you're looking to buy?
Yeah. So we made the decision to move here very quickly and sort of rashly. Uh-huh. So we pretty much from the minute my wife said, "Hey, we should move again," to actually getting in a car and leaving North Carolina was around 3 weeks.
Wow!
So we literally gave away or sold like everything we owned, and then loaded up the dogs and just a few possessions into our 2 cars and drove across the country, and we were here. So we're just renting for now while our house back in North Carolina sells. And we kind of search for something to buy here permanently. Okay. But we have this rented till October, so we have kind of plenty of time to feel out the neighborhoods and kind of figure out where we want to be. I think we pretty much know we want to end up in Henderson, but we're also open to the fact that might change. We haven't really checked out Summerlin that much and some of the other areas, so we might find something else we like more. But we're just gonna feel it out until the World Series is over. That's kind of hard to do, but. We'll get a chance to then.
Yeah. Well, where my brother lives in Inspirata, I can't say enough good things about it. My folks just bought a place here. My aunts just bought a place here. My brother's been living in this area since it opened. He got one of the original townhomes. Uh-huh. And I think when I come out here, I'm probably going to buy in the same area. It's nice. Summerlin's really nice too. I don't want to sell that one short, but yeah, this area is really cool. You got a bunch of neat little bars, just like, a $5 Uber, whatever the minimum thing for an Uber is right away.
Yeah.
It's a neat area. I like it a lot.
Yeah, we like Inspirata a lot. In fact, we actually we made an offer on a house in Inspirata like a week after we got here, but they kind of drug their feet and didn't accept our offer. They didn't decline it either. They just didn't really respond.
Didn't do anything, yeah.
And then maybe after 2 weeks, we were like, you know what? We don't want that house anyway.
Yeah.
So we withdrew our offer. But we like that neighborhood a lot, especially because it's super dog friendly, which
Oh, dude, yeah. Every morning I go for a run with my brother's dog, and they got a little, they got a soccer field down there, and they've got a dog park that I let her play with all the neighborhood dogs and everything. It's just good for them. The Beagles would love it.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. So I think there's a good chance we'll end up in Inspirata. That's the neighborhood that I think appeals to us the most. So,
yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
We're also not we're not opposed to the idea, or I don't know if that's the right word, but I mean, it's possible that in 3 months we might go, I don't really like Vegas. Let's go to Portland or something. Which is kind of the nice thing about not owning anything anymore. Is, I mean, we could literally, if we wanted to, we could be out of this house in 30 minutes. Like,
wow.
That's how little stuff we brought. I mean, basically clothes and computers is what we brought. So it'd be like checking out of a hotel room, basically.
So awesome.
So I mean,
what prompted this? What were you guys just sick of North Carolina, or time for a change, or what?
Yeah, it was just kind of time for a change. Like we've always kind of done this thing where every 5 to 10 years we just move somewhere.
Okay.
So we lived in New York for a summer.
Really?
We're originally from Michigan, moved to Los Angeles on a sort of a whim. And then when we moved to North Carolina, it was very much like when we moved here. It was very quick and very random. Like one day we were like, let's move to North Carolina. Okay. So yeah, it was kind of like we started talking about it when my son was about to go off to college.
Mm-hmm.
But we were like, well, we might as well wait till he's done with school. Like, no use moving now. He's got a year left or whatever. So he finished up high school, went to college, and then at that point, we were kind of like, well, let's give him a year or two to settle in, make sure he's all good and, make sure he doesn't need us anymore, basically.
Yeah.
And we kind of kept saying that to ourselves, but then all of a sudden, like, he's going to graduate in December. So all of a sudden we were like, shit, that 4 or 5 years just went away,
Yeah,
and we've been talking about moving the whole time. So yeah, it was kind of like, I don't know, my wife threw the idea out there. I said, well, let's go grab some dinner and a couple of cocktails and decide where we're going to go. Cause we didn't even know we were going yet. So we just went to the bar and had a few drinks, and we settled on Vegas.
Right on. Well, cool. I'm glad you're here, brother. It's a fun city. I can't wait to move here myself, although it's another 12 years away, but I'm excited about it.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how long I stay here, because like I said, we've never really stayed anywhere permanently, so it'll be interesting to see if we are here years or the rest of our lives, or
yeah, or another 6 months.
Yeah, I just never know. But I'm gonna have a lot of fun while I'm here. That much I know.
Right on. Good deal. Well, how's the series going? What have you played so far? Have you had any caches? How's it going?
I have had 0 caches, but in my defense, I've only played 2 tournaments.
Oh. Right.
So yeah, my schedule is pretty light this year, mainly because of the whole like trying to sell a house and then also house hunting and trying to buy a house here. So I didn't really commit to playing a lot of stuff because I never knew when my wife was gonna be like, we have to go sign this paperwork, or we have to go tour this house, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I've made a really light schedule of basically a tournament a week. Okay. Essentially. And then I'll just mix in, like, I might go play some daily deep stacks. I might go Fire the Win or a Planet Hollywood or something, like if there's just a day where I don't have anything going on. But yeah, so I played the online bracelet event and just really didn't get anything going in that at all. Kind of whittled down, busted far from the money. And then I played the Millionaire Maker this past weekend. Kind of the same thing, really. Like, it was really depressing because I actually before I jumped on the call today, I started trying to think of interesting hands, like, just in case we wanted to discuss a hand or something. And I was like, wow, I did not play a single interesting hand. Like, it was literally like, raise, c-bet, take it, raise, c-bet, get raised, fold, all day. And then a little bit before dinner, flop 2 pair with Jack 9 of clubs, got it in against a flush draw and couldn't hold for like a 50, 55 big blind pot. And that was me on the way out the door. So that's all I've played so far. So really no fun stories, no good runs or anything like that. But I'm playing this 1K double stack tomorrow.
Oh, me too. Yes.
So I'm actually very excited about that.
Yes.
Because I think the structure seems super cool, and I think it's going to bring out a lot of recreational players. And it's right after the seniors event, so I think we'll get a lot of seniors in there. Not to say that there aren't good seniors, so, but
yes, but they'll be tired.
Yes, and most people agree that the seniors event is a very soft event. So I'm hoping a lot of those people are going to fire the 1K as well. And so it should be a super good tournament. Hopefully I can build some chips and get something going.
Yeah, I'm excited. It Mike convinced me to play it, and then I threw it out on here, and I got half of it backed. And
nice.
So I'm like, all right, cool. Let's go ship a double stack. Let's wear a bracelet. Exactly. How many people do you think will be in there? I've heard anywhere from 4,000 to 8,000.
Yeah, I'd expect it to probably be if I had to set the line, I'd probably put it at like 5,500 or something.
Okay.
But I don't, truth be told, I don't know what I'm basing that on. Because it's not like they've had this event before. I mean, they've had 1Ks before. But...
You reached up into your ass and pulled out 5,500.
Yeah, basically.
Stared at the lint in your belly button, and that's where you got it?
Watch it, I'll actually be right. Which
it'll be exactly 5,500.
But I don't know. I don't know why I think that number, but it just seems right to me for some reason.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. But I've heard between 4,000 and 8,000, and one guy seemed very certain on 8,000, and another guy didn't think it'd go over 4K, and then I've kind of heard everything in between. So
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, maybe 6. Call it in the middle. But
yep.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about you've played some of these tournaments that have the big blind do the ante, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So anyone that hasn't played these, because it seems like I hadn't played one either until I came out, but I'd heard about them. And what it is let's say the ante or the blinds are 100, 200. So the small blind posts 100, the big blind posts 200. The big blind also posts the ante for everyone at the table, so he throws in another 200 that goes in the middle. And what the idea behind it is the play goes much faster, because now you're not sitting there having 9 or 10 players that all have to throw in one chip, and there's always 2 people that don't have change, and it slows the game down. Whereas just forcing the big blind to put in the ante, you probably get an extra, 4 or 5 hands an hour. I mean, it makes a big difference. So I was talking to a guy at the table, and he's like, there's got to be, this changes the strategy. And when I notice it the most is when you get deep in tournaments and you're shorter stacked and you're looking at the blind coming at you, you're actually going to have to pay 2 big blinds, because you got to put your big blind up and the ante, which equals the big blind. So it's, I think there might be a bit of an advantage for the pros, because we can probably adjust to this faster than the amateurs can. Mm. But I'm having a hard time articulating how we can really maximize that advantage. Have you played these, and have you thought much about this? Or?
Yeah, so I played one. So I guess I should say I've actually played 3 events, although it wasn't a bracelet event. It was just so they have the daily deep stacks, and at least 1, if not 2 of those each day now are big blind ante events.
Yeah, at the Aria and the Win.
Oh, they have them there too. Okay. This was just like the Rio deep stack.
They're doing it there now too.
Yeah,
nice.
But I know there's one that's not, but the 4 p.m. one for sure, which I played, is.
Okay.
And I wasn't sure, like when I first started hearing about it, I was kind of like, that sounds kind of cool or whatever, like it would speed things up a little bit. But then having played a big blind ante event back to back with a non big blind ante event, mm-hmm. It's amazing how much faster things move.
Okay.
Because we all kind of know from playing live tournaments, like how often somebody forgets to put theirs in, or the dealer has to remind them, or
someone's on their
change.
Phone and they're just like every hand they're just getting fucking bro, throw your chip in.
Yeah, and I'm guilty of it sometimes too. So we all kind of know that happens, but I guess until I played them, and especially having played them back to back, I didn't realize how much it happens and how much faster it is with a big blind ante. So I like that a lot. I haven't given a whole lot of thought to the strategy of them, mainly because when I put my schedule together, I wasn't playing any of them.
Uh,
So I was
okay.
just kind of like, okay, well, I don't really need to worry about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think there probably are some intricacies, although it's probably not. Like I've seen some people on Twitter and stuff like, big pros who are smarter than me saying that it really doesn't change things much because yeah, you do have that big blind coming around that's going to hit you, but it's probably counteracted some by the fact that if you're on the button, you don't have to pay anything for the next 6 or 7 hands or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know what the implications are, but I'm guessing there are some, and I'm guessing smarter players than I have figured them out.
There is a bit of that, like when you're on the button and you're a short stack, you're like, okay, I have 6 hands now that aren't costing me a dime
Yeah,
that I can shove. You know
right.
what I mean? Like I can be slightly. I think you can have like the same patience level until you get to the big blind. Whereas when you're tossing in that ante chip every time when you only got you got blinded down to 6 big blinds or you lost or whatever, it's you're still going to have that 6 big blinds when you come into the big blind instead of now having 5 1/3 or something.
Right.
So it may be negligible, but I think there still is a bit of it there.
Yeah, one thing I will say that I noticed is so obviously, everybody's defending their big blind now, right? Like we've all kind of adjusted to this concept of
Big
defending our
blind
big
defense,
blind
yeah.
wider. Um, but I don't know that recreational players had really started doing that. But I will say that in the big blind ante event, the big blind was seemed to me to be defending way more often.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they get attacked. They kind of feel like, even though you shouldn't think of that 200 chips or whatever as
Being yours.
part of you. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
mean, really, you've essentially collected antes from everybody for an orbit, and now you've put them in, sort of.
Yeah.
But I think people do mentally get attached to it as though it's theirs, and they just are way stickier. So now, again, that's based on one event that I played in for about 4 hours or whatever. So I don't want to I'm not going to go publish a book that says that the big blind ante makes people defend their big blind wider, but it'll be interesting to see if that's a trend that other people notice or that I
Yeah.
continue to
Yeah.
see.
Well, that's 120, 150 hands. That's a decent sample. I've noticed the same thing too. They do seem a little bit more sticky.
Yeah.
I have started raising vigor here. It was from a recent coaching session with Alex Fitzgerald. Generally speaking, I started raising to a little bit more than 3x and making my 3 bets a little bit more than 3x. And I'm getting a lot of folds.
Yeah.
And I'm just relentless with my 3 betting. Like since he coached me on that, I mean, it's just like I'm just like unmerciful. It's so great.
It is a lot more fun. Like I'm a caller by nature. Like I tend to, I just tend to call a lot. Like, but not if I'm gonna play a hand.
Yeah,
I call more than the average person probably.
you're sticky.
Yeah, but I kind of similarly, I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine, Jason Smith. He's Snost and Lost online, and he was talking about how we should be, if we're going to play hands, we should be 3 betting way more than we're calling. And I've just kind of started to implement that into my game, and it's just, and I know it sounds kind of basic, but I guess I don't know, when you're as old and stuck in your ways as I am, it's hard to implement that stuff into your game. But it is amazing how, like you were saying, how often they fold. They just fold all the time.
Yeah. Alex ran an experiment with one of his students. His students was always opening 3x, and he said, "Okay, for a month we're going to try 3.1." And they looked at his database after a month, and he got 3bet 20% less often by using just an extra chip, 3.1, instead of 3x.
Oh wow, that's really interesting.
That's interesting, right? And not much more cost, you're more likely to take it down and not get 3bet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was pretty cool. So I've been practicing with that out here, and you get a lot more folds. It's kind of nice.
So I guess when we want to get 3bet, we should be 3xing.
Yeah, exactly.
And when we don't want to get 3bet, we 3.1 it.
3.1.
Kind of like that, actually.
Yeah. Oh, I'm backing Mac in one of the dailies today. He's living out here now too, and TPE member and on Twitter and everything. and he in our study group. So I got him in the Aria 400 today. I got an update a little bit ago. I guess he ran kings into ace king, and the guy rivered an ace. So he's like, damn it, half my stack.
That's fun.
Yeah, good times. Oh, I had a moral dilemma I want to get your opinion on.
Sure.
I was at the I was at, where was it? It was Mirage. It was my first day here. I kind of wanted to get a warm up tournament, not jump into something that could be 12 or 16 hours, something that's going to last 6 or 8, And so I jumped into a 120 buy-in. I believe it was at the Mirage, and it was okay. We got down to four-handed. The top, I think it was the top 5 paid. And we're four-handed. The people at the table, there's one guy that's a doctor. He likes to be known that he's a doctor. He kind of likes to be, people, he likes attention. Okay, then there's a lady to my right. She's probably about 70 years old. When you look at her right away, you'd think she's a grandma. Then there's me, and there's a guy to my left, and he's from France, and he's been drinking Jack and Coke for about the last 5 hours. I think this tournament lasted 6 hours. So for the last 5 hours, he's been getting a Jack and Coke about, every time the waitress comes along. So he's feeling pretty good. And he didn't even realize when we got down to 5-handed that we were in the money. So that's where we're at, right? Good old
I like this guy.
120 turbo here.
Yeah.
So we're down to 4-handed. I raise his, it folds to me in the small blind. I have pocket 8s. I raise it up. He shoves all in. I call, and he's got ace 3. Now, the board run out comes, so we're both all in and everything, and flip the cards up. The board run out comes king 9 deuce. And whenever I'm all in with a recreational player, I always kind of call out the action and I root for them.
Yeah.
Just to keep them coming back, and make sure they have fun and like that. And so I'm like, okay, Frenchie, we need an ace. And then the flop comes down, king 9 deuce. And I'm like, well, we need an ace. And then the turn is a 9. So now we have king 9 9 deuce. And I was about to say, or a king, but the dealer was flipping the cards so fast that I couldn't keep my my narration up with the speed that she was dealing,
Right.
And I said, we need an ace. And I was about to say, or a king. And then a king flops down. And so now the board is king, king, 9 9 deuce, right? My 8s are counterfeit, and his ace plays. And I go, oh, I make the sound like Homer Simpson's, the don't, like that, right? And before I knew what happened, the doctor stood up. He shook Frenchie's hand. The dealer pushed the entire pot into my stack. So I had my stack all nice and neat, and she just pushes the whole pot, so the whole fucking thing piles over into a mountain, right? And the next thing I know, Frenchie has his hand right in front of my face, like he's shaking it, to shake my hand. So I shake his hand. I'm still a little confused as to, does no one else see that I actually lost the hand? And then he was gone. And I'm all, no one batted an eye.
Huh.
Did everyone misread the board? I don't know what happened, but now I have this pile of chips in front of me with no way of differentiating like what I had to start the hand.
Right.
And we're now 3-handed, and we all just made an extra $130.
Wow, that's a weird situation.
Isn't it?
I'm trying to think what I would do. I think obviously the morally correct thing to do, I guess, is to say, hey man, you won. But I don't know how you fix that, because now the chips are all intermingled. I mean, I guess they could go to the cameras and try to figure it out, but that's going to take probably hours. In a $120 daily at the Mirage. It's not like the WSOP where they probably have 12 people sitting there waiting to review cameras,
Right.
Yeah, that's really weird.
I was so shocked, and by the time I realized what had happened, the dealer was already shuffling the cards, and I'm like, I guess we're now 3-handed? Is that what just happened?
See, I kind of feel like, and I don't know what this says about me as a human being, but I feel like in that tournament, in that specific situation, I probably would have said something. like I probably would have said, "Hey man, you actually won. I don't know how we're gonna figure out who gets what in chips, but you won the hand." But I'm sitting here thinking to myself, okay, let's say it was the main event, and I bought my way in with my own $10,000,
Mm-hmm.
and we were on the stone bubble, and that exact same thing happened. I'm not so sure I would say anything. Like like my morality has a price clearly, or my ethical standards has a price, because for the extra 150 or whatever dollars I'm going to make in the daily, I might just be like, I don't need the money that bad, man. You won. Here you go. Um, but am I gonna do the same thing in a 10K buy-in where basically it's like a $20,000 mistake? Probably not. I think I'm gonna sit there and play dumb, and I'm not sure what that says about me.
In the moment, it happened so fast. I think afterwards, I kind of like had time to think about it and justified it in my mind. But in the moment, everything happened so fast, and no one said anything. So either all of them misread the board, and I think my calling the action like that might have influenced it a little bit. Everyone was just like, "He needs an ace. He needs an ace. He needs an ace." That was a king.
Right.
That wasn't an ace. He lost. Good game. We're down to 3. Or they actually saw it and they were like, "Oh, he doesn't realize that he's actually won. Well, we just moved up a spot." He was, I don't know. I kind of look at it like, he was a recreational player. He was having fun. Part of the skill of the game is being able to read your cards and read the board.
True.
I don't know. I don't know, but it was a strange spot that I was like, maybe I'm a bad person for for not saying anything, but I think the social awkwardness of it afterwards and them having to, it would have stopped the tournament. I don't know what the fuck they would have done.
Yeah.
And it just might have been this weird, awkward moment for everyone. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Especially with his hand, if the dealer's now already shuffling the cards, like his hand's in the muck, the board's in the muck. Like,
There's
what are you gonna do?
anything to do. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a weird spot.
Yeah. It was strange when the doctor stood up and shook his hand. I was like, "Oh, he's congratulating him," and then he was going to shake my hand, and I shook his hand, and I'm like, "Why is he standing up? Like, what am I?" And then the dealer, takes the cards and puts them down, shoves the thing into my stack, and I'm like, "Oh fuck, they think I won." That's what happened.
Well, hopefully he's not a listener to the podcast, or he's going to come looking for his $120 he lost.
Yeah. No shit.
Oh man.
Well, I've got a few hands here.
Cool.
Okay. I had one. I don't even know that this is much strategy, but I feel like last night I was playing the. I've had a good run so far. I've played 6 tournaments. I've cashed in 3 of them, and one of them I went deep. I got 10 out of 331. First place was 27K, dude. I was
Oh wow.
Fuck, I'm so close.
That's a sick run.
Oh man, it was fun. Carlos was there sweating me the whole way. It was cool.
Nice.
But last night I played another one of those at the Aria. It was a 400 buy-in. There was one guy that just, he just freaking owned me. Like he raised, he was a short stack. He shoved all in. I looked down at 6s in the big blind. I call. He has ace 5, hits an ace on the river. Same scenario. The next orbit, he shoves in. This time I got queens. He has ace 5 again. He must like that hand. And it's an ace on the river. Now we're down to 15 big blinds. And the very next hand, I'm in the small blind. Under the gun raises to 2.5 big blinds. And this same guy re-raises to about 10 or 11 big blinds. And we're down to 15 big blinds after having doubled him up twice. And we got queens again. And I know this doesn't sound like much of a decision here, you have queens, but there was something about, it's the whole scenario. It's the tight guy raising under the gun, and it's this guy that just doubled up twice, and the look on his face, and he looks so relaxed and calm, and the way he put the chips in the table, I feel very confident that Phil Hellmuth would never go broke there. It was just something about the way he did it. I mean, I got to give myself a little bit of credit. I took about 15 or 20 seconds because it just did not feel right. And I ended up putting it in under the gun folds, and then he snaps off and he's got aces. And I'm like, oh, fuck it. Was I trying to prove myself right? Like, It's so tough
Yeah.
to fold queens there. I mean, in a vacuum, 15 bigs with queens, you have no decision. Just go with it. But it was the whole scenario and just the way it went down. It just didn't feel right, you know?
Yeah. Do you by any chance know what Under the Guns the original opener stack size was?
Yeah, he had about, let's see, I had 15 big blinds. He had about 25 or 30.
Okay. Yeah, because it feels very much like when our ace five guy like basically 10x, 10x three or 10 big blind three bets,
Yeah.
if that makes any sense. Like he's essentially saying to Under the Gun that, I'm going with this hand. Like I don't think he's ever folding there.
Yeah.
If Under the Gun is to reshove. So he's definitely has a hand. And he has a hand that he's comfortable three betting an Under the Gun opener with, a tight Under the Gun opener, and willing to get it in against. So like I don't even know like if this is gonna be, I guess this could be jacks sometimes, but I honestly don't think it's gonna be nines and tens very often.
Exactly.
And I don't think it's gonna be like ace jack, ace queen very often either.
I don't think
So
so either.
I mean, I think I would absolutely get it in here. But I also think that if we sat and thought about it for long enough, I think we would probably both realize that it's probably a fold.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think he's ever doing that with tens and below. He may be doing that with ace jack and ace king suited. Like the level of confidence he had did not look like ace king off.
Yeah.
Like he was just too calm. Like the way his face was, like, he was pained when he shoved the ace five both times,
Right.
visibly.
And this time he was not pained.
Yeah. This one he was not pained. No, he was very relaxed, and he was just his whole body language, everything, And but I had jacks there, it would have been an easy fold for me. Queens was tough, and I don't know.
I will say one thing, like there's something to be said for that instinct. Like even if you don't have a concrete reason for the read, believing that this guy's strong. I mean, it sounds like you're obviously describing some facial expressions and sizing and things like that are more concrete. But it's amazing how often your instincts are right in those kind of situations.
Yeah, I think we've just played so many hands of poker that it just gets logged into the computer, our subconscious, and we've seen enough people flip up aces and kings and nutted hands that it just gets grouped into that category, and that's when a little alarm bell starts going off in your head, and I think that's where Helmuth is able to tap into that and use it, and guys like you and me shove queens there.
Yep. And I do think there's something too about that whole like I wanted to prove I was right, that I was beat.
Yeah.
I do that. I catch myself doing that a lot online. I'm not as guilty of it live, but online, the number of times where I go, oh, well, clearly he made it, he hit his flush on the river, obviously.
Yeah.
I call, see, look, I told you he did his flush on the river. And it's like, well, then why am I calling? Like it like makes you feel better to know that you took a bad beat, like then to have to fold and wonder, so you're just like, you call and you go, yep, see, told you. Aren't I smart?
Myself right. Aren't I smart?
Yeah. As he's stacking your chips up.
Yeah, exactly. And you're kicking a can.
Yeah. And how many people were left at this point? You said 10. Was this when there were 10 people left?
This was 30 people left.
Oh, okay. So it weren't like any huge.
No. We were in a min cash, and the next jump up was like 2 players, and we'd make an extra $100 or something like that. First place was 26, 27K, 25, somewhere in that ballpark. And min cash was, I got 760, I think. So I made $360.
Yeah. I definitely think it's probably a fold. But like I said, I think I probably get it in there like 85% of the time.
Yeah. Okay.
Just because it's queens, man.
Yeah, right? Queens. I have 15 bigs. What am I supposed to do? Fold? Yeah. I got another one that's kind of interesting. This was a little bit before that hand, so that was my bust out hand. I didn't spike a queen and get lucky. I busted 30th. But a little bit before that, I've got 130K, and the opener, he's the big stack probably in the tournament. At this point, he had like 600,000 or 700,000. It was tough to tell. There were so many damn chips. But it well has me covered. Blind levels are 3,000, 5,000 with 5,000 ante, and we've got 130K, so we got 26 big blinds. And this guy with all the chips, he's been really, really active and, raising a lot. And, some of the hands he's showing down with, he was making some loose calls that were mistakes. Like he would go and raise 13K and then call a 60 or 70K shove with like Jack 9 suited. He's obviously behind.
Yeah.
What do you're just chip drunk at this point, you know what I mean? So he raised to 13K, and we're in, let's see, where were we? We were on the button, and we've got pocket jacks, 2 red jacks. So with 130K, he raised to 13. Blind levels are 3 and 5, so he raised 2.5 big blinds. What are you doing with 26 big here and jacks?
I think that based on the description of this guy, like making some of these bad calls of 3-bets. Now, granted, those were 3-bet shoves, and I guess he knows he's closing the action, so it's a little easier for him. I think I might, against some players, I might just jam here. It's a kind of a big jam, but I don't know. There's a lot of dead money out there. Our hand's not that great. I mean, it's jacks. It's not aces. But I kind of feel like against this guy, I almost just want to like go for a big 3-bet, like size it up in such a way that he's going to call like he has been. The downside of this is that we're probably have to get it in almost every flop.
Yeah.
But so I might make it like 65K or something. It would depend a little bit on how much I think he's like aware of my stack size and stuff too. Like it sounds like he's not very stack aware, which makes me kind of just want to put make him make a mistake by putting a bunch of chips in the pot.
Yeah.
Now it's gonna really suck when this board comes like ace king 4. But I think I'm just kind of willing to play my hand that way, and if he spikes against us, he spikes against us.
Okay.
We'll be in position, right? So
yeah, we got
because we were on the button. Yeah, so I mean, maybe we can change that plan. If the board comes down really bad, or if he shoves into us or something, on a bad flop. But I think I kind of like that versus shoving.
Okay.
Because I think he's made some of these bad calls against like stacks half the size of ours, but is he going to call 130K? Probably not. I don't really like flatting because we have no idea where this guy is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I like a 3-bet, and I think I like going a little bit bigger with it. Just like I said, just to make him make a bigger mistake.
Okay. All right. I 3-bet. I made it 30K. So I made it a little bit smaller. I looked to my left, and it did not look like the blinds were doing anything. They looked bored and folding. So I make it 30K. It folds to him. He looks back at his cards. He thinks for a little bit, and at that point, I was kind of hoping he was going to shove. But whether he was debating shoving or calling, or whether he was debating folding or calling, I couldn't tell, but he ends up calling.
Okay.
So he calls. So we got 73K in the pot with the antes and blinds and the raises. We now have 100K behind. So stack to pot is more than 1-to-1. And the flop comes, we got 2 red jacks. The flop comes queen 9-9, 2 spades. And I don't want to say he instantly shoves, but it was about a second might have been too long. It was like 0.8 seconds. Just like the flop came out, and he and then he's all in. And he said it, quick like that. And I was like, oh, that damn queen. And so I was like, okay, well, let me just try to get him talking like I always do. And, because we kind of had a friendly dynamic going. And so I was like, huh. And then when he saw I didn't snap call, it was kind of like he kind of relaxed a little bit. And then I said, what are you doing? What are you doing, Josh? What's going on here? Like, and then he said kind of in a matter of fact voice, he said, I was going to shove any flop. So what does that say to you?
Yeah, that's really weird. That's not a line I've heard from people very often.
Right?
It certainly seems comfortable. Like in that, I mean, he's essentially advertising to you that he doesn't have anything, right? Like I was going to shove any flop, which like is he going to say that when he has aces or kings? I
Right?
don't think so. But he does seem awfully comfy, which kind of leads me to think it's not like a flush draw or a straight draw. But is he going to do this with a 9? I doubt it. Like it kind of feels like it can only be a queen.
That's kind of how I felt. It when he said that, I don't remember if I said it out loud. I hope I didn't, but I definitely thought you were going to shove any flop, but you chose this one.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And I mean, like, you've shown a ton of strength, so I don't like. Is he really trying to get you to fold an overpair? Seems odd. I don't know. Like, it just kind of feels like this is a queen every time, and almost nothing else. I mean, I guess he could have like king 10 of spades or something, like combo draws and stuff, where he is drawing, but he's super comfortable because he has so many damn outs.
Yeah, he
Or at
just and
least,
so many chips he doesn't care.
yeah. But I don't know. Like saying I was going to shove any flop just seems super confident to me. Like I don't know. I wouldn't say that if I was on a draw, but I might say it if I had 9-10. You know.
Right? It's a statement that seems like he kind of wants to appear weak, which was what set off alarm bells.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely think he's trying to make himself look weak, which makes me think he's not.
Yeah.
But then the question becomes: Is he? If he's not weak, is he weak in a drawing, or is he not weak in a drawing way? In other words, like I said, he has so many outs, or he has his beat. I can't. It's not. It's like not going to be sevens or eights, right? So it's like it's literally a queen, a 9, or a bigger pair than ours.
I think so. Yeah. And I wonder if it could. Yeah, he could call there with like aces, but the aces or kings.
Yeah.
Hands
Does he seem like the kind of guy to you that would just flat aces or kings there?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it could be something like that too. I don't think we're good very often.
Okay, I did the math on this, and we need to be good 37% of the time. I didn't have the math in the moment there, but Monday morning quarterback, writing it all down and adding it up. That's what we got to be good. 37%, and I don't know. I mean, shit. Again, in a vacuum. Okay, you have jacks here, and like, there's only one overcard. But the way he said that, I end up folding. I don't know if it was a good fold or not, but yeah, I don't know. It just felt like he had a queen or a 9 or like one of those combo draws, like you said, which we're probably not that good against, and like you said, like king 10 of spades or something.
Yeah, yeah, and the good news is that like you said, even against stuff like that, we're not in that great a shape against those hands anyway. I mean, if he showed me those hands, I'd probably call, especially since we block his straight draw. But I'm not going to feel very good about it. It's like, okay, well, here, let's flip. I think it's a good fold.
Okay. Yeah. I'm still thinking about it. I needed to talk it over with someone. I don't know.
It is a little bit weird. I'm starting to think about this now, though. If he's going to get all his chips in on this board, and he has why is he not checking you and letting you invest more chips?
That was another part too. Like, is he doing this with sevens? And he's like, okay, if he calls me with ace king or something here, I'm a favorite.
Yeah, like because now I'm like if I'm trying to put myself in his shoes. Let's say I have a 9.
Yeah.
why would I shove and try to get you to fold your jacks or anything else for that matter? And if we have ace queen or king queen suited or something like that, kind of the same thing. Like by shoving, all we do is get called by better.
Yeah.
And we fold out all worse hands. So shit, now I'm thinking maybe he doesn't have it.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Because
Maybe
he's
he
shoving effectively 2x pot, right?
like 1.5 pot.
1.5?
Yeah, there's 73 in there. I got 100 behind, so he basically made it 100.
Now I'm starting to wonder. Although he might just be trying to protect against flush draws, straight draws. Doesn't want to see an overcard come. I don't know. Now I'm starting to wonder.
Maybe it was a call. That was probably a bad fold. What he said would influence my decision heavily.
See, that's the thing. Like his action, to me, his action contradicts his confidence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he seemed to me, him saying that seems incredibly confident. But if he's so confident, why is he trying to get you to fold by shoving 1.5x pot?
Right.
Like it just seems odd to me. Now I'm wondering it. We might be good here more often than I was originally thinking.
Maybe we are good more than 37% of the time. We might be good here like half the time.
Yeah. Have you told this hand to anybody else? I'm kind of curious if anybody else has said call.
No, I haven't. We're just two monkeys shooting the shit here that apparently don't know what we're talking about.
Well, for the people listening, tweet at me and Steve and let us know what you would do in this spot, because I'm kind of curious. I think it's a really interesting spot.
Yeah.
The more that I think about it.
I mean, we're down to, let me see, had we made the money by this point? God, I don't remember. Let me think. Was that one guy there? Because he was a bit. Yeah, we were in the money. We weren't on the bubble.
Okay. I think I still kind of lean towards a fold being good, but I'm not as confident as I was 7 minutes ago when I first said it.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll be curious to see what other people say. So if you get any other feedback on that hand, let me know.
Okay, yeah. Tweet at me and Derek. Reference the Jack hand, and let us know what you guys would do at HUP podcast and at Derek Tenbusch, right?
Yep, that's correct.
At Derek Tenbusch. Yeah, I'm curious what you guys would do, because I still don't know.
Yeah, that's an interesting one for sure.
It is. I got one more here. Let's see, what is this one? Oh yes, okay. This was the one where I ran pretty deep, got 10th. We're down to 12-handed, so we've run through a landmine field of 331 players. We're down to 2 tables, 6-handed at each table, and the under the gun. So he would be the low jack, I guess, if we're 6-handed under the gun. He's got glasses, he's muscular, Asian, but his accent almost sounds like German or something. I should have asked him where he was from, because he might have been one of those token guys that, his family emigrated from China to Germany, and they just grew up there, and so he learned German and English as a second language, and that was it, or something. One of those guys. He was moderately active, but I guess everyone was. And he was the tightest guy at the table, but you still kind of have to be active 6-handed. But he's the tightest guy at the table. He raises to 2 big blinds under the gun or in the low jack. We're on the button with ace queen off. We have 19 big blinds. He's got about 40 or 50. Small blind, looking to my left, I can tell the small blind's folding. He keeps his cards in. He looks at his cards before the action comes to him, and if he's going to fold, it's one of the most obvious tells I've ever seen.
Those are my favorte people. I love those people.
Oh god, it's so yeah, you can get position from under the gun when you have a row of people like this behind you. And so I can tell he's folding because he has his cards in his hand, and if they were good and he was going to play them, he puts a chip on top of them. It was fucking so simple. And so anyhow, so small blind is folding, right? And the big blind is a very active kid. He's got to be a pro. He, Almost said nothing at the poker table, just listening to music the whole time, very calm. You could never get a read on the kid. He was super annoying. I had him at my first table, and he was 2 to my left, and he just kept 3-betting the shit out of me. And anyways, now we're at the second to last, just before the final table. I got him 2 to my left again. This is just as annoying, you know?
I hate that.
Yeah, so anyhow, we got ace-queen off on the button here, and this guy's in the big blind. And so he's actively 3-betting. And just a real active player. I think it would take horrific cards for him to fold here in the big blind. Something like 7-3 offsuit, and even those he might be calling. But I think he's going to be re-raising a lot with things like king queen, queen jack, 3-betting with suited cards, stuff like that. So. Under the gun raises 2 big blinds. We're in on the button with ace queen off and 19 big blinds. Small blind is folding, and that's the guy in the big blind. What are you thinking here?
You said we had about 16 big blinds. You said
19.
19. Okay. Kind of a sexy spot to call with the big blind being so active. I kind of we're offsuited.
We're offsuit.
Kind of like flatting suited better. I might. So you said this guy's been actively 3-betting. Is he 3-betting mostly late position opens, or has he just like incessant 3-betting, like basically 3-betting anyone?
He's 3-betting. Everyone. He's just super active. He's just very, very good at reading people and knowing where he is when the cards comes out, and he uses that to his advantage.
Yeah. So we're obviously not folding. I think there's 2 options. We can flat in hopes of getting squeezed by this big blind, which either and obviously we're doing that with the intention of not folding to him either. Now, what it does get interesting is if we flat big blind 3-bets and the original raiser shoves or something, or just 4-bets, now our hand obviously just shrinks up, and we might actually be able to find a fold. Yeah. But it also kind of sucks going 3 ways with ace queen. I'm leaning towards flatting in hopes of getting squeezed, but I wouldn't hate a 3-bet here too.
Can you 3-bet without shoving? Like, can we make it like 5.5 bigs just to get him out as well, and then get heads up with the original opener?
Yeah, I think we probably can. I guess the question then becomes how good do we feel if we get 4-bet by the original opener? Like, can we 3-bet fold? I kind of think we can, actually, with the guy being under the gun. I feel like we might actually be able to 3-bet fold.
Okay.
Is that nitty? I don't
know. That's why I brought this hand up. It's like, I don't know. Because I could see flatting, I could see 3-betting, and I could see shoving. And I could see all of them showing a profit, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know which one's the most profitable. Probably, I think Mark would say shoving is the most profitable, but I just don't know.
Yeah, I think shoving might be, because it's obviously a more high variance move to just flat or to 3-bet. Like we're opening ourselves up to getting exploited and shoved on by worse.
Yeah.
And fold. But yeah, I think I would lean towards a flat. We're in the small blind, you said?
No, we're on the button.
We're on the button. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna be in position. I think I lean towards a flat, but I also don't mind 3-bet folding to the guy if he shoves on us. And I also don't hate shoving, but I think I'm leaning towards a flat.
Okay. I end up flatting, and my main reason for this was the big blind. I was hoping this would be one of the 25 or 30% chance times that he 3-bets. Although looking at it now, I think it's less likely that he's going to 3-bet an under the gun opener and a guy that flatted on the button when he's going to be out of position for the whole hand.
Yeah.
So maybe that was a little bit of false thinking. I don't know. I end up flatting, and then we go to a flop. It came 8 high. Big blind checked. The under the gun bet like pot or something, and then I just folded. It came with
Yeah.
2 diamonds. We didn't have a diamond, and it was just that was the end of the hand. But I stepped away from the table and made a voice note about this afterwards, and I was like, maybe this is just a shove. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely think shoving would show a profit here for
Yeah.
sure. But there is something to be said for your tournament life. We're getting close to the final table. There's probably some decent pay jumps there. I think I'm kind of okay with flatting. I don't hate it. I
Okay.
kind of feel like some people might though. Like I think Mark might tell me I'm a dolt.
Yeah, I keep hearing him. When I was in this hand, I heard Mark in my ear like, you shove this right here. You make 1.3 big blinds. It's a shove. Just do it. Move on to the next hand.
Yeah.
Right?
And like you said, I do think that our three better is like less likely to be three betting in the spot, like you said, than probably normal. I mean, it isn't under the gun open. He's going to be out of position, et cetera, et cetera. So
And a
maybe
call.
I'm like too confident, or maybe we're both too confident that this guy is going to squeeze here. Like he's probably just not doing it as much. I mean, if he's three betting 20%, I mean, he's only going to three bet here 20% of the time based on that number.
Yeah.
And if he's going to do it even less in this situation because of the end of the gun open in our flat, then let's say it's 15% or 10%. Well, so now we're hoping on a 1 in 10 shot that this guy squeezes.
Yeah.
Not
Not realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I like these kind of hand conversations because I literally start to change my mind as we talk it through more, kind of like in the last hand. The more I thought about it.
Well, it's impossible to do when you're at the table because you only got 20 seconds to act or something. But
Yeah.
here, when we can dissect one in 15, then it it makes it a little easier.
Yeah, so I don't know. Now I'm starting to lean away from. I'm leaning away from my flat. Maybe it's because I'm afraid of Mark yelling at me. I'm not sure, but
That's
so
a real fear.
yeah, I'm starting to gravitate more towards. Although I still don't know if I love a shove.
It felt like it was too many big blinds to me and too critical of a spot. And I was thinking, like, what would Helmuth do here? He's probably the best tournament poker player in the world, and he just doesn't seem to get in spots where he goes all in. He'll do like these little three bets and then know where he's at and either fold or go with it. Like he's just got that instinct. And I felt like, okay, if I flop an ace or a queen here, I'm in position. I can take the hand from there. If I don't, it's easy to get away from. I've only risked 2 big blinds. If this guy does happen to ship it here, I can call the big blind very confidently that I'm ahead, over his range. And so I don't know.
Yeah, I think you described it perfectly, and I think for that reason, I kind of think we could put in a pretty small three bet too. I don't think it needs to be very big.
Just enough to get the big blind out.
Yeah, like you said, get it heads up, take it to the streets in position, and if he shoves on us, so be it. We cost ourselves, I don't know, like maybe. I mean, we could probably make it like 5 big blinds or something. So
yeah, 4.5, 5, 5.5.
Yeah,
like
we still got 14, 15 bigs, which is a lot live.
Yeah.
And I don't think this guy's ever going to shove on us with a worse hand. Like I don't think he's going to 4-bet jam ace jack or ace 10 suited or probably even not some small pairs.
Yeah.
So if we run into it, we fold, and if not, we take it to the streets in position.
Yeah.
I kind of dig that.
Okay. All right. I lied. I got one more. You got time for one more?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. We're 7-handed at the Aria 400. Blind levels are 500, 1K with 1K in antes. I've been super active at the table, and there was an annoying guy to my left that was as active as I was. And so he was, I'd raised to steal the blinds. This particular time, I didn't go 3x to steal the blinds because they were so tight in the blinds. I knew I just had to get through this guy, and then it was very likely that I would take it down. So we're in middle position. We have Jack 10 of diamonds. which is also probably more importantly than our actual hand, is that it's my favorite hand, Jack 10 suited.
Yes.
So that gives it a couple extra points right there. But we raised Jack 10 of diamonds to 2,700, so 2.7 bigs at 501K. And this guy's on the button, and he 3-bets us. We have 60K effective, so we start the hand with 60 bigs. We raise 2,700. The button, this guy 3-bets to 5,200. And
Nice.
the action folds back around to us. So, what are you thinking here?
Well, first of all, it's her favorite hand, so we can't fold.
Okay. That goes without saying, yes.
Yeah. But even if it wasn't our favorite hand, his sizing's pretty small. We have a hand that plays pretty well and easily post-flop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a lot of merit in 4-betting, although this guy has been pretty active. It's probably going to look super strong if we do it. But I think our hand's just like too good. Meaning I don't want to 4-bet here and have this guy jam and have to fold a hand like Jack 10 of diamonds. So I think just flatting. I think flatting's pretty standard here.
Okay. I thought so too. I thought it's only 2.5 more blinds for us. The pot will be 12K at that point. It'll have 12 big blinds in it. It flops easy. You're going to know right away whether you got something or not.
Yeah.
Just flicking a call. Yeah. Okay. So I call. Now the flop is interesting. And the flop with Jack 10 of diamonds, we get a flop of 8 of diamonds, 7 of diamonds, 6 of hearts. Okay, so we got a flush draw, we have a gutter, and we got the 9 of diamonds will give us the stone nuts. And the action's on us. We've got 54, we'll call it 55K behind, and we got 12K in the middle. So stack to pot is about 4.5 to 1. And the action's on us.
So I guess check raising seems like the most obvious thing. I was trying to decide. First question I asked myself: is there any merit in leading here? And I mean, unless we're just trying to like pot control, I don't really see a lot of reason to do that. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna go for. I'm gonna check. I don't necessarily think we have to decide that we're gonna check raise yet. Like we can maybe do some different things based on his sizing, but I think I would start with a check.
Okay. Okay. I checked as well. He bet into 12,400. He bet 4,300.
So pretty small. Not like unusually small, but I guess like third. So I'm just trying to decide if we want to raise now. There's going to be so many cards that he's going to hate. So it's kind of my thinking. Like, if we just call and a diamond appeals or a 10 or a 9, like, or a 5, like there's so many cards that are just going to like kill the action if he has aces. And we have so much equity. I think I like just going for a raise now.
Okay. What
sizing
are you gonna make it?
Probably like he made it 56. You said.
He made it 43.
43. I'd probably go like 12K. Maybe almost 3x. We could probably even go a little bit bigger if we wanted to.
Okay.
I mean, because we don't have a made hand yet, so it's not like we mind him necessarily folding. So we could even go a little bit bigger, maybe like 13.5 or something.
Okay, that's pretty much what I did. I raised it to 13K, and then so that puts let's see, that gives us 41K behind effective, and then there's about 30 in the middle at this point. If he calls, then the stack to pot ratio will be about 1 to 1. And so at this point, he folds. But after this hand, I thought maybe the pattern is we lead out like he did, And then if he raises us, now we can shove.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Because at this point, when we raise to 13,000, if he shoves, we can never fold. Right?
Right.
I mean, we just get like this is just it's too good of a hand, I think, right? But I hate calling in a spot like that when we don't have a made hand. I just threw into Equilab right now. I put, okay, what if we were up against the worst of hands, aces through queens, and we're still 45%.
Yeah,
and that's worst case scenario. Well, I guess he could have a set that would probably be a little worse, but I don't know.
Yeah, we just have so much equity that I don't think we're ever folding. So maybe leading can be interesting, but I'm just kind of thinking, I just kind of want to get chips in the spot. And I kind of feel like we're going to be able to put the most pressure on him by check raising.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe check raising was the move then. And then you just got to accept if he ships it, then you have to call because you just have too much equity no matter what he's got.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay. I guess the check raise was good. And then if he checks behind, then you got pot control and you can kind of decide what to do from there.
Yeah, exactly. And we can also if he calls our check raise and it comes one of those kind of bad cards, like I was kind of saying, well, bad for him, meaning a scary card to him.
Yeah.
We can also check back and make it look scary to us, So if we make our straight or we make our flush, we can check back the turn, making ourselves look free to that board, and hopefully maybe he piles the river or bluffs the river or whatever, and we get more chips that way. Because it's kind of one of those hands where I think, if we make our hand, just because of the coordination of the board, if we make our hand, we're probably only getting one more bet.
Yeah, we might not get fully paid off.
Yeah. So
okay.
I don't know. There's a lot of interesting ways that hand could go. I think the check raise is pretty good though, and it worked. We won with Jack High. So
and that was your first instinct too, and sizing and everything. You and I were on the same page, so that's probably probably the best move. Right.
I like it.
Cool. Well, what's new with TPE? I've been watching all the videos and everything. Alex's new series up there is freaking awesome.
Yeah, people are really liking his vids, and I like him a lot too. I'm pretty far behind on my Alex video watching, so I need to get that going. In fact, I might do some of that tonight actually, because I'm feeling very tired and worn down today. So I might just plant myself on the couch with my laptop and watch some vids.
Right
on. But yeah, we got some new videos rolling in from Andrew Brokus as well. We actually have a new series from Danny N13 on the horizon, and we are actually about to. I wish I could spill the news now, but we're about to launch a series from a new pro, probably in the next month.
Ooh.
But I've learned my lesson from past experiences of announcing a new pro and then having them change their mind or decide that they're too lazy to make videos. So I won't say the name, but I will say that people can look forward to a fresh face on the TPE roster.
Right on. My two favorite right now are Colin Moshman and Alex Fitzgerald. You know what? I got to put Andrew Brokus in there too, because he's just like the staple of, you want to learn about bluffs. Well, I have a 7-part series on that if you want to learn about that.
Right.
You want to learn about reading hands? Oh, yeah. We have a 6-part series on that. 4 hours of content on hand reading. So I think those are probably my top 3. Colin's really good. Oh, my God. Yeah. That guy knows ranges better than anyone I've ever seen.
I know. It's pretty. It actually makes me feel pretty bad when I watch videos like that. Kind of the same way I feel when I watch Daryl Jace videos. I'm always just like, man, I'm stupid. About poker,
situation
anyway.
Comes up and you're all, oh, that's a call, and they're all, this is a fold every time, and you're like, okay, I guess I'm hemorrhaging money in this spot. Tell me why.
And he had a series recently where he was doing some work in PO Solver, and I'm so technically inefficient with stuff like that I was watching it. I'm just like, man, I need to get in. I need to get in the lab. It teaches me how to be in the lab.
Yes.
I need a training course and all this stuff. So, but yeah, lots of good stuff. We have, I don't know when this podcast will go live, but we have the TPE meetup on the 22nd as well, which I'm really looking forward to. That's always a good time.
That was next on my list. I announced it on the on the podcast before this one, but this will be out before the 22nd. This will be out the next day or two.
Nice.
So if you guys are in town, PT's Pub. It's on the corner of Flamingo and Decatur. It's a classic dive bar, and there will be beer and pizza.
Yep.
Good times had by all.
Yep. It's not fancy, but you'll find good people and good conversation.
Yes.
And shuffleboard, which is always
yes.
a blast.
And there will be money on the shuffleboard.
Oh yes, high stakes shuffleboard action. Yes. So yeah, if you're tired of sitting at the poker table, come stand at the shuffleboard table with us for a while.
Yes. Right on. Cool. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be good times. I'll look forward to seeing you.
Good deal. Yeah. So if you guys want to join Tournament Poker Edge, you know where it's at, tournamentpokeredge.com. You can click on the link in the show notes or just type that into your computer. When you guys join, use the codes HUP month, HUP quarter, or HUP year. You'll get a little discount and spread some love back to the podcast and to TPE.
Absolutely.
That's about all I got, Derek, unless you want to throw any plugs in. You still want to go meet up for a beer and lunch? My treat?
Let me let you know.
Okay.
I see a very long Skype conversation from Diego, who's my business partner at TPE.
Okay.
And I have no idea what it's related to, but it seems somewhat urgent. So I'll see what's up with that. But yeah, maybe we'll do that.
Okay. All right. Well, text me and let me know.
Sounds good.
And right on. Okay. Well, thank you for tuning in. And here is your weekly motivational speech.
And as Zen Shi says, a flower does not think about competing with the flower next to it. It just blooms. And that's really your job, is to see the outside world, to see the flower next to you, to understand the amazing things that are happening all around you, all of the incredible people and the essence of what they have and what it is that they've done to bring inside yourself and find out what does that look like when it's me. Not what do I look like when I'm them. And once you understand the difference between that, then you can really begin to be something unique. You can become that thing that you were meant to be, that thing that makes you feel alive and whole. And that's it. That's the secret. You're just trying to be something, not that's just inspiring to other people, but that you actually want to wake up every day and be. And that's the thing about it. There's no escaping you. Whatever you become, a lie, the truth, somebody else, yourself, whatever it is, you're going to spend every day of your life there. And as Albert Einstein said, everybody's a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. And that's what confuses people. People believe that they're dumb because they're not finding their path. They're not defining things based on what excites them and what they want to live with every day. They're just looking to what the outside world says is good. And I think it's incredible that there are other people doing things that are so extraordinary that we aspire to be like that. But you have to understand the difference between being like someone and trying to actually be them.